What's going on, trappers? Welcome back to JWell Trap TV. If you want to help Tariq, Braden, and I get Noma's profits, make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, and put a notification bell so you know when I go live and make a new video. You wouldn't want me to end up like her. Let's go. Yo, what is going on? Welcome back to JWell Trap TV. We are back with another episode of Power, Book 2, Season 3, Episode 4. This episode is called Land of Opportunity. Let's jump right in. Let's go. So we start the episode off with Tariq at Weston Holdings, and it looks like no cap, all frap is blowing up. People are walking around making orders as they're doing their business. We switch over to Braden. He's trying to call Effie to talk to her, probably to let her know what happened with Kane last episode. She says she has to call him back because Tiny is shorting customers on accident. We switch over to Effie and we get a behind the scenes look at the no cap, all frap operation. It turns out that there's a guy, Tiny, and he's been shorting customers. Effie gives him a lesson on how much an 8-ball is, and we move on. We come out on Tariq, and he's watching the whole operation, kind of looking like ghosts back in the day, and he texts Kane to let him know that Noma's cash is due today. We switch over to the Tejadas, and they are walking down the street. Looks like they're about to surprise Monet with something. She's blindfolded. And it turns out that Lorenzo got a mural made for Zeke in front of the bar. Diana shows up late, and Whitman shows up right behind her, and this sets Monet off. She tells Whitman that he shouldn't be harassing her while he's suspended, and Whitman says now that he has been suspended, he has much more time to watch Monet, and he's going to catch her when she slips up. He continues to accuse her about Carrie, and he also brings up her baby daddy Mecca, and this prompts Lorenzo to ask him if he has a warrant, and he tells him to leave or he's going to hurt him. Whitman eventually takes off, and Lorenzo asks Monet how long has this been going on, and Monet says she's been working with Davis for a few weeks, and that she has it under control. She says let's go in and have a family meeting, but then she stops Diana from coming in. Tells her to go back to school, that's what she wanted, right? So Monet's still being cold to Diana. So now we go inside the bar. Monet says that Whitman ain't stopping shit and she wants an update on the operation. She asks Lorenzo what's going on with the business, and Kane jumps in and says that the business is booming. He's saying that he's moving so much weight they'd have to recruit help from the Castillos and the Jamaica Ave boys. Monet says they can't trust the Castillos because Evelyn thinks that the Tejadas clipped Frank. Drew says that they don't know and it shouldn't be an issue. Monet says they can't trust them and they may be moving in closer to try to find out and confirm whether or not they truly did make the kill. Kane says that Frank was a rat and that he had lots of enemies and they can't prove anything. At this point, Lorenzo backs him up. Monet says it's too risky and they have to shut this whole operation down. And then Kane says they aren't shutting down shit, that they can't afford it and they need to move Noma's product. Monet checks in with Lorenzo again and asks if he's really with this shit. And then he backs up Kane again and he says that it's working for now and if they sense anything wrong with the Casillos, they'll shut it down. Kane says they gotta leave and move weight and Lorenzo agrees and they leave. At this point, Monet and Drew stay behind him. Monet is like, what the fuck was that? And then Drew says, they've been moving real funny. So I told y'all, Drew know about this shit. And then Monet says, with the cops watching them, this is all really risky. We go to Sax and Jenny and they're having dinner. Sax is still asking for Theo's unredacted file. Jenny says Sax needs to focus on getting evidence for the Rico case. And Sax continues to tell her that he needs Theo out so Davis will start trusting him. Jenny doesn't want Theo getting out without Davis getting wrapped up. And she says that she wants to tie him into the Rico case. She wants to charge Davis with the murder that he actually committed and use that to put pressure on him to get Tariq and crew. Sax says it'll be hard to do because the case is so old, and Jenny gets a call from Blanca and she gets up to take it. This kind of annoys Sax because he's wondering why she can't take a call in front of him. While she is gone, another phone in her purse rings and Sax takes a picture of the number. I'm assuming this is Lauren. Jenny comes back and he tells her her other phone was ringing and he asks her if the DEA is giving out hoe phones. Jenny says that it's for CIs and that she has to go, but she will work on getting Sax the case file. We go to Tariq and crew and it looks like Tariq is finally copped a car. It looks like my boy got a Porsche. Says that he's no longer a black man walking. Effie is walking in behind them and Kane snatches her phone and says that he was seeing if it works because when he hits her up, she doesn't answer. Effie says that Kane isn't her nigga and she don't gotta answer to him. Kane says that he just wants to thank her for taking care of Lauren. This stops her. She says, hey, that's Cap. Who told you that? Kane doesn't give anything up, but he thanks her for taking one for the team, and he asks her why he's seeing Tariq if he's sending her to do his dirty work. She tells him that Tariq doesn't know, and that the whole thing was wrong and that she didn't want to do it, but it had to be done. Kane says, well, he should still tell Tariq that he has a winner, and Effie says that he wants it to come from her and asks Kane not to tell him. Kane says that he wants to be hit up when she does finally tell him, and she says that's none of his business, but that she is gonna tell him. So I'm looking at this scene and I'm like, why Kane care so much about Tariq knowing that Effie was the one that killed Lauren? Like, why he cares so much? Like, why he want to break that relationship? Like, why does he want to, what's going on? Well, he really think he can get at Effie? Because, you know, that's a weird turn right there. So we go inside to the stash house and we're meeting with Obi. He says that they've made their quotas thus far, and he actually calls Braden a pale gnome, which was pretty hilarious. He then shows them their next re-up of weapons in addition to their drugs. And we have some Glocks, we got some AKs, and we got some silencers. Tariq is shocked and he's like, we're not really built to sell guns. And Obi reminds them that this is what Mecca did and they said they would take over Mecca's whole operation, so this is what they gotta do. He leaves and then the crew starts strategizing. Kane and Drew end up saying that they're gonna move the guns. Effie talks to Brayden and she asks him why he told Kane about the Lauren murder. Brayden says that he didn't tell Kane anything and that Kane pressed him and he held it down. He says he doesn't know how Kane knows. So now we switch over to a class scene in Stanfield and we do a life goals and privilege exercise. In this scene, our main characters identify the things they want in life. Diana says that she wants independence, Effie says that she wants freedom, and Tariq says that he wants family. We move on and we have Effie and Tariq talking about their goals. Effie asks Tariq if family is what he really wants, and Tariq says yes. He says that he wants to graduate and use his trust to help his family. Effie asks Tariq what happens when they burn through the trust, and she says that when they are in the game that their family is at risk. She says that she's only doing this to get enough money for grad school and that it costs $50,000 a month to go to school in Stanford in California. She says that she's sick of looking over her shoulder and committing felonies just to get paid, and she says that no one accepts her for who she really is. And at this point, Tariq says that he does accept her. This makes Effie happy, and at this point, she tells Tariq that she needs to tell him something, and I'm thinking this is about Lauren, but then Tariq gets a text from Brayden saying that Lucas needs them immediately. Tariq asks Effie what she wanted to talk about, and she says nothing. So Effie is struggling to tell Tariq about Lauren. I wonder when she's gonna do it. So now we switch to Lorenzo at Stanfield, picking up money from Diana and giving her more work. Diana's a little upset because she's like, hey, I thought this was gonna be a one-time thing. You know, I don't want to be sitting here moving work at Stanfield. And she asks Lorenzo if she's able to make her own life choices. Lorenzo says, no, mamita. He says that she will eventually be able to make her life choices, but right now, because of this Noma thing, that the whole family's in danger and that everyone has to kind of put in work to help. Familia primera. He takes off and Diana isn't happy. So now we switch to Monet and she's in Davis's office. She's complaining about the Whitman harassment. Davis tells her to write it all down and the harassment claim will help discredit Whitman. And he says that Whitman is playing right into their hands. Monet's pissed though because she doesn't want him continuing to harass the family. And Davis says that maybe they can use Diana to provide an alibi on the Carey murder. Monet doesn't want to use Diana, but Davis says that she's the only Tejada without a rap sheet. He says that Whitman will actually listen to Diana for this reason. Monet says she'll do it, but then she wants to break into Whitman's house while he's meeting with Diana and steal some files. She wants to know what Whitman has on the Tejadas. She pays Davis to find someone to break and enter into his home, and Davis is reluctant at first, but once she drops the money on him, he says he can do it. So now we switch to Lucas's meeting with Chris Partlow, RSJ, but you guys know that's Chris Partlow from The Wire, right? They are still trying to land his investment portfolio and they're meeting with him. Lucas is meeting with him, he's trying to lay it down, trying to lay the deal down, and he insults RSJ by calling him a black Elon Musk. RSJ isn't feeling Lucas at all. And as he's leaving, he asks Tariq if his father was an example of how our kind of people can pull themselves up by the bootstraps. Tariq tries to save the meeting, but then Lucas interrupts him again and tries to tell RSJ about some investment opportunities. RSJ doesn't want to hear it, and he tells Tariq that he heard he had an estate and to take care of it. When RSJ leaves, Lucas is pissed and he asks Tariq what happened. Tariq says he doesn't know at first, but then Lucas says, I know you know what happened. Tariq tells him that the way Lucas spoke to him offended him. He tells him about a speech that he heard him give at Howard, and he tells him that RSJ feels like blacks and everyday people could be just like him, but they don't have opportunities because of institutional racism. Lucas asks Tariq where these insights were before the meeting, and Tariq says that he's just an intern and that Lucas was just using him as a prop. Lucas says that it's Tariq's job to show him that he's more than a prop and just an intern. And he says that if he wants to keep his internship, that he needs to sign RSJ. We switch to Tariq updating Brayden on what just happened, and Brayden tells him that if he does his research, he should be able to land RSJ. They both get texts saying that the no cap all frap servers are overloading because there's too much orders. And Brayden leaves and says he'll take care of it. We go to Monet and she's visiting Diana at Stanfield, and we open the door and there's already some tension. Monet tells Diana that she needs her to talk to Whitman. Diana's a little opposed and she says they've been treating her like shit until they need her. Monet tells Diana about Whitman trying to pin the Carey murder on her, but Diana still isn't down because she feels like Monet tried to blame Zeke's death on her. And she tells Monet that really hurt her. Monet says that she is sorry and that she was grieving and that she shouldn't have treated her like that. Is that what you needed to hear? And I thought that was rude. And then Monet says she's either gonna be mad or you're gonna come back and hold the family down. So Monet kind of put her in a real bad position, gave her an ultimatum really, came and used her for her own needs when she needed it. So we switched to Drew and Gordo, and it looks like Drew's trying to take stuff to the next level with Gordo. Gordo says they gotta slow it down because they're play cousins, and he also doesn't mix business with pleasure. And Drew says they aren't blood related, but he understands, and it's probably for the best they don't mess with each other. Drew says that his family doesn't like him having guys around, and that they feel like him being with other people distracts him from business. Gordo says his family used to do that too, but then he made them put some respect on his name. And now they don't do that anymore. Drew says that he can get respect if he can move these guns. And he asks Gordo how he can do it. Gordo tells him about a militia faction upstate that will probably be interested in purchasing the guns. Kane and Lorenzo come in and then Gordo leaves. As Kane comes in, you can tell that he's a little annoyed to see Gordo there. Kane and Lorenzo start strategizing on how to move the guns. Lorenzo says that selling hammers is a different game and he doesn't really know how to do that. Drew says he has a play and he can move the whole shipment. Kane says he likes Drew's idea. Drew says the guys they're going to be working with are racist, so they're going to need a white face. And Kane says that's no problem, so you can tell we're going to use Braden. We switch to Tariq and Tate. Tariq is trying to get advice on how to woo RSJ. Tate tells Tariq that the fact that RSJ is even talking to him shows that he wants something from Tariq. He says the game is to be sold, not told, brother. Tate then tells Tariq that the feds have been trying to work with him and get information on Tariq from him, and that if he doesn't want him to work with him, that he's gonna need weekly donations from him. He tells Tariq they are investigating Mecca's murder. He asks him to send the account in Bitcoin to buy his silence. So look at Tate making moves on Tariq, making him pay him $5,000 a week in Bitcoin just to keep his silence. That's insane. So now we switch to Sax and Ginny. They're having drinks. Her CI phone is ringing and Sax asks if she's gonna answer the phone. Ginny plays coy with him and Sax asks her if she is seeing someone else. Ginny gets mad and says that she's leaving. Sax says that he can follow her or she can just be honest with him. Ginny says that she isn't sleeping with anyone else, but his behavior makes her want to. And she just basically called Sax a simp, bro. She then finally agrees to take him to Blanca. So when they go to meet Blanca, she isn't really happy to see Sax at all. She says that Sax doesn't play by the book and he's gonna tank the case. Sax says they need to put all the bullshit behind him so they can catch the bad guys. Blanca says that she's not gonna let him ruin the case and that she'll take him out before she ruins her or the case. Ginny gets another text from Lauren and Sax sees this and asks her if there's anything else that she needs to tell her, but Ginny says no. So Ginny's still lying about the Lauren to both of them. We then switch to Ginny meeting with Lauren, and Lauren's complaining about her living situation, saying she doesn't have Wi-Fi, saying she can't see her family. Ginny says that if she wants out, she can leave, she can go back into the world, but then she'll have to drop the case. Lauren says if she does that, Effie will find her and she'll be in danger all over again. And Ginny reminds her not only Effie, but the entire organization. And then she shows them how they're living their best lives while Lauren is stuck here in witness protection. What's interesting about this showcase of photos is there's an updated photo of Tariq and Effie at Stanfield. Who is taking these pictures? Lauren sees these photos and she's pretty upset, and now she's starting to, looks like, accept the idea that Tariq may have, ordered a kill on her. Ginny asks Lauren if she knows about any other suspicious behavior that Tariq did. Lauren says that she's seen Monet meet with Tariq on Stanfield campus and it looks like she was giving him orders and that he was nervous. She also says that she took him to a place on the roof of Stanfield and that later on she's seen Diana leaving that place. This, of course, is the place where the lockboxes are on the roof. Ginny asks if Lauren ever seen Kane up there and she says no, she never seen Kane up there. Just Diana. So now we switch to Lorenzo and Kane. And Lorenzo tells Kane that he needs to be back in charge. Kane says he can go tell Monet and end him being in charge. Lorenzo says that everyone will catch on to their bad behavior if Kane keeps on moving the way he has been. He says that he's the head of the family and he built this operation. Kane says that he now leads the family and that Lorenzo lost that right. Lorenzo says that he isn't gonna let Kane hurt the family. And then Kane says that Lorenzo almost destroyed the family when he killed Zeke, and to look how Monet's been since that happened. At this point, Lorenzo gets upset and he says if Kane wasn't his son, that he would kick his ass. And then Kane raises up and says that's his problem. He says that he is not a kid anymore, and the sooner that Lorenzo realizes this, that everything will be fine. So that was a tense scene. Kane ain't giving up nothing, bro. Kane ain't holding back. So now we switch to Slim and Diana, and they are not studying, and Slim has his shirt off. So it looks like Slim finally got some. He asked her earlier if she really wanted independence. And she says yes, that's why she's been busting her ass in school and working hard at the candy store. Slim says that she really wants independence, that she will split from her family. Diana says that she knows how to handle her family. And then Slim says that he's noticed that she has been spending a lot more time with the family. And then at this point, Diana says that things are complicated. So Slim at this point, and this is where it gets kind of weird, gets a little weird, okay? He says that he doesn't want to keep pushing this on her, but parting ways with her family is probably the best thing for her to do. And I'm sitting here thinking like, bro, this nigga is the one taking the pictures. He's the spy. He's the spy. This dude is the spy for sure. He is totally the spy. This has to be our guy right here. This is him. This is him. But then again, like, bro, are undercovers allowed to sleep with their marks? Or is that allowed? Is that what we doing in the NYPD? Undercovers, are they sleeping with the marks? What is this guy? Is he a mercenary? Like, how does this work? Because that would be weird. So now we switch to Diana meeting with Whitman. But before Diana gets there, Whitman's on a phone call and he's asking for a partial fingerprint report. So keep that in mind. Diana pulls up and she says she needs the truth on who killed Zeke. Whitman says that he thinks that Monet killed Carrie and that she killed Zeke. Whitman asks Diana if she has any proof that can link Zeke's murder or Carrie's murder to Monet. Diana says that no, that Monet is too good at what she does. And at this point, Whitman asks her, what is she doing here? Why is she cooperating? And Diana says that Monet sent her here to lie to Whitman. Diana says that she knows about a separate set of books in Monet's bedroom. Whitman says this is money laundering and he can work with it. Diana asks Whitman if he can get a warrant to search the house, and Whitman says no. I'm assuming this is because, he's suspended, but he says that he can go in himself. He then asks Diana when Monet and Lorenzo will not be home, and she says that she can find out. He then tells her that he will need her to authenticate the books, and Diana says that she will do this, but that he can't ask her for any other help. She says that if Monet really killed Zeke, that she will not hesitate to kill Diana. She tells him that she'll leave a key in the backyard and that he will need to watch out for the cameras on the outside of the house. Whitman asks her again why she's cooperating, and she says that she realized she needs to cut ties with her family, but that Monet is the real cancer and not Diana. So now we switch to Lorenzo and Kane, and they are meeting with Braden. Braden's excited to finally meet Lorenzo the legend, but Lorenzo looks at him like, nah, bruh, and he starts talking shit about him in Spanish. Braden says he knows what pendejo means, and Kane assures Lorenzo that Braden will get the job done, and then Kane goes over to Braden and he says, hey man, make sure you don't fuck this up. Drew and Gordo pull up and he says that he's taking a job and he's pulling them out. He tells him to go take care of Queens while he's gone. Drew isn't happy about this and he asks Lorenzo if he's gonna let this fly, and Lorenzo says they have to do this Kane's way. As they leave, you can see that Gordo's finally understanding what Drew's going through. So now we switch to Blanca and Jenny. Blanca's saying that she has a CI in the militia that is, doing this gun deal with the Tejadas. And Jenny's saying, well, the Tejadas don't move guns, but then Blanca's saying, no, maybe they took over the guns because that's what Mecca used to do. So the cops are starting to get some traction here. She then says that she knows the Castillo brothers are now working with the Tejadas. Blanca says she's gonna keep looking, and Jenny says that she's gonna follow up on a tip she got from Sachs about the Stanfield roof. But we really know that she got this tip from Lauren, so she's still lying to Blanca. We switch to Tariq meeting with RSJ and Lucas, and Tariq says he has a proposition. Tariq says he knows that RSJ wants to start construction on a new mall, but there's a QCP building that was left for him in his trust that's stopping him from starting construction. RSJ says he was told that it can't be taken out of the trust, and Tariq says there's structural issues with the building and that allows him to buy it out the trust. RSJ says if he signs with Weston, will Tariq allow him to purchase the building? And Tariq says yes, he'll get a larger cut after he graduates, and this will also allow them to move the deal forward. RSJ is down and he says send the paperwork over to my office. So it looks like Tariq landed that deal for Lucas. Now I'm over here thinking like, bro, Tariq just did something so major for Weston Holdings. This dude should be he should get more than just keeping his internship. Bro should be a partner, bro. Like, bro should be handling all the black accounts. Send them over to Tariq St. Patrick. He will land the fish and get it done. That's how these dudes should be thinking. Tariq can be out the game right now. Working at Weston Holdings. Sorry, we don't need to do drugs anymore. I'm over here at Weston Holdings. Thank you, sir. We switch over to Braden, and he's meeting with the militia guys for the gun sale. The militia dudes are asking Braden a bunch of questions like who he is, where the guns came from, and they also want to work with him directly. Braden tells them no, that they need to hit up Gordo for any future transactions. As the guys are loading up the guns, the lead militia guy tells his crew to call around to try to find out who Braden is. He takes a picture of Braden with his phone. Switch to the motel, and Braden is meeting up with Kane to deliver the cash. Braden wants to come in and count the money, but Kane tells him to get the fuck out. Lorenzo tells Kane that they need to get out of this motel because there are sitting ducks in here. Kane says that he wants to count the money first. Lorenzo looks out the window, but he doesn't see anyone, but it turns out those militia boys, they are posting up and getting ready to raid the room. They see Braden leave and they assume that Lorenzo is alone. Lead militia guy gives a signal and they start to move in. Looks like they got some assault rifles and a sawed-off shotgun. Militia boys, they kick the door open. Kane hits the floor, and Lorenzo and Kane are able to take out all three of these guys. I don't know how these dudes they came in with M16s and a freaking sawed-off shotgun. That sawed-off shotgun could have cleared the whole room. Kane and Lorenzo go outside and they are ambushed again. Lorenzo saves Kane's life by pushing him out the way, and he takes some shot at the militia guys. Drew and Gordo pull up and they offer support, and they are able to drive those dudes away. It looks like Drew shot one of them in the back. It turns out Lorenzo was the one who told them to follow and back them up. Before we go, we see that Gordo was hit, but Kane is able to recover the guns they already just sold. We switch to Drew and Gordo in the car, and it looks like Gordo was hit. Drew is patching up the wound. They say that one of the guys got away, but Gordo isn't tripping. He says that Drew had the guy running and he doesn't think he's gonna come back for retaliation. They start kissing and Gordo starts to pull away. Drew asks him if he wants to stop, but then Gordo says that he doesn't. So then they start kissing again. So, honestly, I want to say I like this Gordo guy a little bit more than ever. This Gordo dude is cooler than ever. He out here shooting. He's out here helping with the business. I like him. Everett was just always complaining. Hey, bro, hey, So that's my take. We go to Kane and Lorenzo driving. They have secured those guns. Kane asks Lorenzo why he told Drew and Gordo to follow. And Lorenzo says, from his experience, he thought about how he would stick up a crew who was out of town if they made a deal. Kane says they now have double the money because they now have enough to pay Noma and move the guns to another buyer. Lorenzo says, oh, that's a big profit for you, Kane, but then Kane says, no, that's profit for both of them. So Kane is gonna share those profits with Lorenzo. He then says that if Lorenzo didn't push him out the way, that he would be dead. Lorenzo takes this moment to say that no matter what, when it comes to family, he's always going to protect them, even if they're right or wrong. He tells Kane that he is his firstborn and he loves him and he'll do whatever it takes to protect them. Kane says that they are good now and that Lorenzo's secret is safe with him. So now we switch to Whitman, and he is outside that Tejada house. He has a hoodie, got that Trayvon hoodie on, right? Let's see what happens. So he's going in to break in. He disables the camera, Breaking Bad style with the green laser. He grabs the keys and he goes in, starts walking through the Tejada house, and he runs into Diana. He goes like, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. And then she starts calling 911 and saying there's someone in her house breaking in. Next thing you know, Monet comes out with a gun. Whitman starts begging for his life, saying he's a cop and that she couldn't get away with this. And Monet says that she will take her chances and to tell that Carrie bitch, she said, what's up? And then she shoots this nigga in the chest. Bow, 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 bow. Diana gets pissed and says that he was supposed to just get arrested and that she didn't want to be accomplice to murder. Monet says that she didn't tell her that part of the plan for a reason and to shut up and to hit her so they can make it look like it was self-defense. Diana says, say less, and she gives her mom a haymaker, makes her bleed a little bit. Cops show up and Diana and Monet are giving up their fake stories. Davis shows up, he takes Monet to the side, and he's just like, oh my God, you are insane. He tells her that if they keep the story straight, they should be able to beat the case and that she's a bad bitch. Davis was also able to get the file, but he says he's gonna hold on to it until after they come back from the precinct. He says don't say anything until he gets there and they'll be home tonight. Dang, man, hey, Monet just straight up dropped a body right in her house, bro. She just dropped a body, boom, bro, kill Whitman, bro. She wasn't playing. She was not playing. You remember Davis was all like, oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. Nah, she's like, he need to go. When she said he need to go, she wasn't playing. He need to go, and he is gone. We go to Tariq and Effie, and Effie is excited that Tariq was able to sign RSJ. Tariq is saying this experience is helping him see a life outside of being in the game. And he says that when he gets his family set up, that he can go pull up to Stanford with Effie. Effie is really happy to hear this. And Tariq asks her again what she wanted to talk about, and she says nothing that she forgot. So they go to bed, and she lies watching him, and then she gets up and she takes Kane. She says that she isn't gonna tell Tariq yet, and for Kane not to tell him. Kane says that he will hold it down, and Effie says that she has never had a man like Tariq hold her down. Kane says he won't tell. Still, why is Kane so interested in this Effie thing though? I gotta know, why? We switch to Blanca, and she's outside that motel where the shootout happened, and she's looking for the condition of the CI that she has. So it turns out the leader of that militia was her CI. It turns out he's in and out of consciousness and he's not stable. Blanca says that once he is stable, she wants to talk to him. So when this guy wakes up, he's gonna pretty much be able to deliver Braden, bro. He has pictures of him and pictures of his license plate that he was there. Not good. We switch to Monet at the penthouse, and she has those files from Whitman's house. Drew comes up and says, hey man, you can't make a move like that again, taking out a cop, big deal. He says that she's welcome to stay in, her penthouse. I don't know how he gets, it is her penthouse, but he says she's welcome to stay there. Monet says she's only gonna be there until the house is no longer considered a crime scene, and then she goes back to looking at the files. And it turns out the files say that there was a partial fingerprint of Lorenzo's found at the Zeke crime scene. So it looks like Monet is gonna start thinking that Lorenzo had something to do with killing Zeke. She calls Davis and she asks him to look into it. He tells her not to jump to conclusions and wait until he, gets a final report, and he hangs up. At this point, Lorenzo walks up, Monet hides the files, and he's just checking on her. And, she has this very stoic look, because she's like, wondering if this dude killed Zeke. And he's telling her that she doesn't have to worry about this case, that she's not gonna be charged. And he says that he loves her. And then, they hug each other and she says that she loves him too. But then we end the episode. But hey, I'm telling you, this dude, Monet, I'm telling you, she's gonna find out in her own way. She's gonna assume from the fingerprints, she's gonna ask him, why were you there? And he's gonna have to tell her the truth because why were you there? Your fingerprints were there at the crime scene. Like you didn't know about that private jet. So like, why were you there? And then boom. That's going to be it. That's going to be it for Lorenzo. I don't know how he's going to talk his way out of that. So what do you guys think, guys? What do you guys think? I think the major other thing in this episode, this episode was those pictures. The pictures that Jenny showed Lauren. Who is taking those pictures of Effie and Tariq? Who's taking those pictures? It has to be, I don't know, like, unless it's, Dr. Bennett, it's either Dr. Bennett or it is Salim. But but Salim is sleeping with Diana. I feel like, you can't, as a undercover, you're not really supposed to engage in sexual relations with, folks. And that's why he's telling her she needs to split from the family. But this is a crazy development. You got to look into that. You got to look into that. We didn't really see anything else with Tariq and the Jamaica Ave boys that we kind of were hearing about last episode. Looks like Lorenzo and Kane are getting closer together. Braden, a huge party foul leading those militia dudes to the house. Kane pretty much saved his life by telling him to leave, because I don't know how Braden would have behaved when those dudes walked in shooting. Effie still doesn't want to tell Tariq about Lauren. How much longer is this going to get dragged out? The police got a lot of traction this episode. They're going to get this guy who's going to give them Braden. The militia dude will give them Braden for sure, as far as, having pictures of him at the deal and his license plate. We got Jenny going up to the drop box and she's setting up cameras there. She's definitely going to catch Effie stocking up. This whole Whitman thing is going to make them have to move a little bit more carefully, but they do have some really good leads right now. And that's it, guys. So hit me up. I'm your boy J Well. Make sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, put a notification bell so you know when I go live and making a video. Thank you guys for helping me get up to 400 subscribers. I really appreciate that, guys. All right, I'll see you guys later. Peace.